breakfast with areas where great gains often bring more fats to London than any other airline.
Welcome back to News Talk Breakfast. The time is 9:37. We're here at a really busy National Ploughing Championships, right in aisle J here at the centre of the entire 7-acre site at the National Ploughing Championships here in the Pye. Do come down if you have a spare day today, tomorrow, the next day. 180,000 people expected. Everything for country cousins, city slickers, great consumer stuff, lots of we're just in front of Aldi and Tesco here. Burnley Brothers is Saturday, the guys who make the Hurleys, Cannings are making Hurleys, and O'Neill's Sports Gear, and Ulster Bank here right beside us also helping us out on the News Talk stage, and you're welcome. Tomorrow all the programmes will be coming from here. Damien Kybird is here today for lunchtime, George Hook is going to be here, even Tom Dunn is going to grace us with his presence tomorrow, so great excitement. It's a pleasure now to welcome to the stand Sean Gallagher, who is of course a man who isn't like Dana Norris and Lauros O'Muraku waiting for a nomination. He has secured the 4 councils. This started out on the 6th of May. He announced his intention to run for the presidency. Since then, he's got the prerequisite backing of 4 councils. But we have to ask the question, Sean, do you have a chance? Because when I was looking at my bookies website, I see 16 to 1 to be the next president of Ireland, to Sean Gallagher. You're most welcome to the stand. How's the campaign going?
Ivan, it's great to be here. The campaign is going well, and the first phase was to secure the nomination and the required 4 councils. I've got that, and I've left it at that. I've asked the other councils who had indicated some months ago that they would support me. I've asked them to withdraw their motions and to free up those councils if other candidates required it. Because I found the process incredibly frustrating for an independent to try and get the support to get on the ballot, and I want to make it as inclusive. Because there's a real feeling out there among the people that they want, I think, an independent candidate. There's an openness for inclusive ballot to have as many people and as wide a choice as possible. I'm getting great response on the ground. I get it here today. People know my message. It's not party political. It's about I want to do for enterprise jobs.
So you say that like you're independent. You said it twice, and you're non-political. But are you not Fianna Fáil in disguise? You remember the Fianna Fáil National Executive. You ran Seamus Kirk's campaign in the Louth constituency. You're a former advisor to a Fianna Fáil minister. Are you not Fianna Fáil in disguise?
No, I mean, I think we've been through this many times. I embrace my political past. Yes, I was a member of Fianna Fáil in a voluntary capacity. I've never been a politician. I've never been elected. But my message is very clear. This is not about party politics. This is not a trophy for a political party. We're electing the president who has to be above party politics. And I think what we're seeing now is probably a descent back into a rerun or a rehash of the last general election. We need to move on to the real issues about what the president, the role of the president is, and how that role can be put to good use to do what people really want, and that is to address economic issues, but more importantly to help get this country back on its feet and provide jobs for our young people. That's what people are telling me throughout the country for the last 2 months, as I've asked them directly.
But just on this Fianna Fáil thing, just say now at the Fianna Fáil Parliamentary Party meeting this morning, they decide to nominate nobody, and they actually, you have a situation that Norris and Dana and Lauros O'Muraku don't get on the ballot paper, which I think is what's going to happen. Micheál Martin has said he's going to endorse one of the candidates coming up to polling day. Would you welcome an endorsement from Fianna Fáil?
Well, I make it very clear, I'm not seeking an endorsement from any political party. I'm standing as an independent. I will welcome the support of all political parties and independents. My message is non-party political. It's about jobs, and it's about doing for enterprise what Mary McAleese has done successfully for the peace programme. That's the real issue. And the presidency shouldn't be about party politics.
But you see, most people will know you as a dragon. Weren't you horrible to all those entrepreneur wannabes? I mean, how can we elect someone as president who's been really, Gavin Duffy and Bobby Kerr, really humiliating people? That's not the type of person we want in the party.
No, I think, Ivan, if you've watched the show, you know that I have a very strong commitment. I absolutely respect wholeheartedly everybody who is brave enough to step forward to start a business. We need more entrepreneurs, and I salute every one of them. Last night I addressed 400 emerging entrepreneurs in Castlebar. These are the people who will create the jobs that will be the glue to hold our entire communities together. And many of them, as you've seen in Dragon's Den and as you'll see here, are working in the food, farming and agricultural related sectors. This is about sustainable growth, this is about sustainable business, and this is about the future of the economy, but much more importantly, it's about jobs and it's about STEM immigration. That's what my focus is.
The big surprise packet, the dark horse, the cat amongst the pigeons is Martin McGuinness. What do you make of his candidacy?
Well, look, I welcome everybody into the race, and it's good to see
your tail welcome into the race. Why would you welcome people into the race?
This is the point. You can't say one thing and then not be consistent. Absolutely, the presidency needs to be inclusive, and everybody needs to have an opportunity for the widest electoral ballot possible. I grew up in the border counties. I understand the peace process, and I very much salute Martin McGuinness's role in that. But what my concern would be now is that this would descend into another party political faction fight about gaining ground for political parties and about parties.
Hold on a second. If it's a valid point to say that David Norris shouldn't be president because he wrote a letter of clemency for someone who was a former lover who was convicted of statutory rape, if that's unacceptable to the Irish people, surely a former head of a paramilitary organisation that was responsible for the deaths of 644 people, that candidate has questions to answer about his past.
And he may have, and there are questions that need to be put to Martin McGuinness. It's not for me to comment on somebody else's candidacy. I remain absolutely focused on mine, and that's my agenda. And my concern is that as an independent, I want to see, genuinely, I want to see this debate go back away from personalities and political parties. We have had a general election.
What do you think will be the impact of his intervention in the campaign?
I think it's all to be seen. I think it'll depend very much on how people react to the various candidates. But I go back to the core point. We have had a general election. We've dealt with those issues. We've elected a government that has a strong mandate to address the issues. This is not party politics. It should be a way above party politics.
Sean, can I just ask you, there's a nice big crowd around us here, and I presume they're here for you and not for us, but when we talk about the presidency, and when we go onto the show and we say, oh, you know, look, Dana looks like she's in the race, and now Martin McGuinness is in the race, loads of people get in contact with us to say, who cares? Who cares about the presidency? The office has no validity. What do you say to those people? Because we get it every day throughout this campaign. People saying, the president, sure, it's a do-nothing job anyway.
Well, let me ask you the question. Would you put that to Mary McAleese 14 years ago to say that a president had no role, had no power, and had no influence? And yet, if you look, 14 years ago, Mary McAleese entered the presidential race with the theme, which is about building bridges. Now, I believe herself and her husband Martin have done more than build bridges. They've helped build peace in this island, north, south, east and west. And we can see on our TVs, transmitted around the world, the image of President McAleese greeting Queen Elizabeth. That sent out a very clear message around the world. Last week I was in Cashel. 65% increase in tourist visit numbers to Cashel. Cliffs and Moher were the very same the week before. It's a message that we send out to the world that Ireland is open for business. But much more importantly, the President is the face and voice, not just of Ireland as we know it, but our ambition of where we want it to be. Mary McAleese played that role, I think, outstandingly well. 21 years we've had of active, energetic presidency. I want to continue that.
Okay, let's talk about the race to the bottom. Martin McGuinness told us he'd take the average industrial wage. Larissa Murriku told us he'd take nothing. He'd be glad just to get the job. He doesn't want to be paid if people make him president. What's your offer? How much do you want?
Well, isn't that just the sadness of how you'd even address that question to the office of the president who has a job? For me, it's not about money, it's about
that
job.
That means you'll take the full salary,
the point is, it's set by the government, Ivan, and you know, if you get into this barter system, somebody takes it for that, somebody takes it for less. Is that how you fill the job?
So you'll take the full salary?
What I'm saying is that the government set the salary. Whatever the government set the salary at, there's a job of work to be done.
The answer is yes, you take the full salary.
Whatever the government set the salary at. And I believe that it's the job of work to be done that I'm concerned about. I'm not interested in this for money. This is not creating a job for me, Ivan. This is trying to create jobs and create a future for our country.
Okay, well, that's Sean Gallagher. The voting day is the 27th of October. No doubt, Sean, will be speaking to you again.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, Ivan, if I might say, because obviously I started my career in agriculture I went to agricultural college, and I'm delighted to see so many young people coming back into the agricultural colleges. I made the point yesterday to somebody that I'll be the only candidate that I can be sure of that will have had their own herd number. So I believe absolutely in the farming community. I believe in the
and you reject the point that you have to hope.
Absolutely. This race, I tell you, Ivan, hasn't started. Wait until we get into what the real issues are. People are fed up with party politics and political parties squabbling about who's going to have power.
Okay, Sean Gallagher, you'll have an opportunity to vote for him on the 27th of October. We wish you well on your campaign. Thank you for joining us on the stage. Now, what's this we have coming up, Chris? We have, yes, getting a very warm response there from the crowd here, very fulsome crowd here in front of J254 here.
253, you keep saying
it seems like a prison cell we're in, but it's actually, the sun is out and the crack is here. And now, coming up, we have, I don't know where more of these people. We have three amigos. Now, I can think of the names, which are the Three Stooges, but anyway, apparently